Thanks for checking out this video. You could be listening to any idiot on the internet with a mic in front of them, but you chose to listen to us, and we appreciate that.
We're sending you a virtual hug. If you have any trade questions or start-sit questions, leave a comment. Justin or myself will definitely respond, or maybe even both of us will respond.
If you like the video, drop us a like, comment, sub. You know the drill.
Welcome to A Tribe Called Fantasy with your hosts, Greg and Justin.
Check the description for players that just didn't make the list this week, and leave us a comment if we forgot anyone on the list. At number 50 on the list, we have Mecole Hardman, who had a pretty good game this past week, close to 23 fantasy points, had 7 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown. I thought he rushed one in, but...
Did you give us a 10-second countdown? It just seems excessive.
Did I?
I don't know. It was a lot of numbers.
I did 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Sorry.
Should I start over? Just keep going, power through it?
We're fine.
9 targets. I think that our rankings reflect this. Mecole Hardman and Demarcus Robinson have kind of alternated on who's going off which week. With Sammy Watkins out, those targets need to be filled. Patrick Mahomes went absolutely ballistic this past weekend, and Mecole Hardman was definitely a beneficiary of that.
Yeah, this is like a pure roulette table.
Yeah.
Like red or black. You went red. Now you got to go black. Just hope it goes well.
Yeah.
Coming up next, though, we got Randall Cobb coming off a monster game. 8 catches, 95 yards on 10 targets. They're taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. His consistency prior to last week has been questionable. That's why we have him down a little low. But his upside is good. And going forward, I think he's going to have better games, if I had to guess. And I do like him going forward. Just this week, hesitant. That's why we got him a little bit lower.
At 48, we have Darnell Mooney, who had a really good game against the Saints. 5 catches, 69 yards, and a touchdown. Kind of a real boomer bust player. I feel like a good comp would be Darius Slayton. Would you disagree with that? Darius Slayton might be a bit more consistent.
I think he's a little more handsy. Speaking of handsy, did you see that punch?
What? Oh, I know there was like a brawl.
Dude, it was crazy.
What happened? I know that it happened, but I know very little detail.
Man, you're missing out. I recommend.
I heard someone spitted on someone.
They spit, yeah.
Spat.
Spitted. We'll go with spitted. It just sounds a little grittier.
Yeah.
Apparently, the drive before, this guy's name is Mims. Javon Mims, I want to say.
Huh?
Surprised he didn't get cut. He's got 2-game suspension.
Oh, shit.
CJG CGJ Gardner Johnson. I don't know what his fucking name is. The quarterback for the Saints. Apparently, he spit on him and ripped out his mouthpiece the drive before. So then this guy goes to the sideline. So he's just fucking sitting on the sideline for
steaming.
Oh, yeah, just fucking about to lose his shit. Next drive, he goes out there. The corner then pokes Anthony Miller in the face through the face mask, just like a little jab. And then next play, homie's corner is just looking at the play go in the opposite direction, and Mims runs up to the side of him, proceeds to pull a 0 IQ move and punch him in the helmet twice. And then he got like body slammed to the ground. And then
one of these players was just not even playing?
No. He was on the field. He got back on the field. This guy does not get many snaps.
Oh, okay. He really took advantage of him.
Oh, I'm surprised he has a job.
Jesus.
But yeah, it was crazy. One of the Saints players just like pinned him on the ground, and then he got up like fucking Hulk Hogan, just flexing on everybody.
Wasn't this like was this the primetime game?
Yes. This was a primetime game.
How the fuck did I miss this?
I
also watched all of the highlights. They did not include this.
Hey, bad for the shield, bro.
Hey, true.
It was
gotta protect the shield.
It was crazy.
Well, was it a la the Michael Crabtree Aqib Talib chain snatching incident, or not as bad?
Man, that was just cooler because like that was just some real grit. That was 2 homies going at it, but this was just one guy sucker punching another dude in the helmet. Like he got hit in the.
Why would you do? I guess, like, I don't know, when you're angry, you just don't think straight, and you're like, fuck, man, I could punch you. I could punch you in the helmet and still give you a concussion, bro.
Think about how long he was on the sidelines. Like, 1 drive plus 2 TV timeouts.
Jesus, yeah.
He was mad
Calm the fuck down, bro.
Jesus.
Someone hit him with the smelling salts.
Dude, for real, where were his
smelling
teammates?
Salts aren't calming, but no. I don't know, just literally anything.
Just knock his ass out. Anyways,
Darnell Mooney, 48.
yeah.
That's all we need. I don't know. He's kind of a home boomer bust player.
Yeah, he's got that speed. Next up, we got CeeDee Lamb. And we got bad news for all the Cowboys owners. They're taking on the Steelers, first of all, which is not great. And they are deciding to start. Well, first we'll say that Andy Dalton out once again on COVID. Or not. He was out with a head injury, but now he's back out on the COVID. DiNucci has been benched, and now they're in a competition between Garrett Gilbert and Cooper Rush.
What a rough spot. I wish that they would have picked someone. Wasn't the trade deadline today? Is it over at this point?
It's over. Well, they spent $7 million on Andy Dalton.
So they're not going to.
But yeah, man, you're screwed. It may be one of these wide receivers on the Cowboys has a good game, but don't expect much. Steelers defense is tough too. Steelers defense might score 4 touchdowns.
True. At 46, we have Curtis Samuel going against the Chiefs, who has seen increased usage. Had a nice little touchdown off a flea flicker against the Falcons. A dime dropped in. It was actually almost blocked by the Falcons corner, but at the end of the day, it was a touchdown. They like to involve him in the running game. I find that very unlikely to happen with Christian McCaffrey coming back this week, but he rushed for a touchdown last week, caught that flea flicker for a touchdown. But it's seen increased usage the past couple of weeks. Week 5 against the Falcons had 5 catches for 36 yards, 11 fantasy points. I'm just going to be fantasy points. That's all we really care about. I mean, not really, but you know what I mean. Week 7 had 17 fantasy points. So he's definitely picked it up, but I would definitely temper expectations since Christian McCaffrey is back. And they're definitely involving Robby Anderson and DJ Moore a little more. But Curtis Samuel has a bit versatility in the run game as well. So interesting player.
At 45, we have Demarcus Robinson coming off a 5-target game, 4 catches, 63 yards, and a touchdown. We mentioned earlier with Mecole Hardman, these guys, they're just back and forth. Mecole Hardman outsnapped him last game, but it was only the second game of the season that he did that. So I expect Demarcus Robinson to bounce back. He's had plenty of games this season with 90% plus snap count. I think it was just a fact that they were beating the piss out of the Jets, and they just didn't need him. I think maybe he has a couple of good plays. Obviously a boomer bust player, but against the Panthers, I think this is a pretty good boom potential.
Yeah, and the Chiefs don't let up.
No.
It's like it doesn't matter if they're in the lead. They're just going to keep putting it on you.
Why would they? They're trying to break records every game.
I love it. Good for fantasy. At 44, we have Jerry Jeudy. Really good matchup with the Falcons. I love this matchup. And oh, damn, I can't even remember his first name. Drew Lock. There we go.
Yeah.
Drew Lock, man. Is he better quarterback than Justin Herbert? What? No.
Better than Carson Wentz.
Ooh, that's actually kind of spicy.
What, that's spicy?
I feel like it is.
No chance.
I don't know.
You could throw more accurate passes.
True.
Yeah, I knew I shouldn't have said that. Your ego is just way too big.
Last week had 4 catches for 73 yards. He's definitely a player that you're kind of banking on those large chunk plays, and I think that you will get them against the Falcons this week. So I feel pretty good about starting Jerry Jeudy against the Falcons, honestly.
Yeah, he quick.
Tim Patrick is questionable. Something to note.
Yeah, he'll bump up if Tim Patrick doesn't play. At 43, we have Emmanuel Sanders. They're taking on the Bucs. He should be rejoining the team this coming week off of the reserve COVID-19 list. He has not played in a minute, but I assume his conditioning is fine. Probably doing some shit still. Hasn't played since week 5, but came off a huge game in week 5, 12 catches, 122 yards. Still don't know if Michael Thomas is going to be back. Story of the 2020 fantasy season. If he's not back, you can bump him up. I think he'll have a better game. But I think he still has the volume, and I think he still has the skill to put some work in if you need him, even if Michael Thomas is there. Maybe a high man flex play. Maybe like a 14, 12-man league if you're really hurting.
At 42, we have Jakobi Meyers. There have been several injuries to the Patriots wide receiving core. Julian Edelman is out for the foreseeable future, I believe. N'Keal Harry's injured too, right? I don't remember.
Yeah,
I remember hearing that he was hurt.
He's banged up.
But
I don't know if he's playing or not, though.
Okay.
I don't think he is.
I don't think he is either. But Jakobi Meyers has been pretty productive the past couple of weeks. This week against the Bills, and I believe it was raining a bit too. 6 catches for 58 yards. He's had double-digit fantasy points the past couple of weeks. It looks like he was dealing with some injuries as well. Has a really good matchup against the Jets. I could see the Patriots leaning more on the run this game. So that's something to be a bit careful about with Jakobi Meyers, but he should be the lead passing recipient this week.
He played 98% of snaps last game.
That's a lot. He only went off the field to go take a little tinkle.
Yeah, we missed one snap.
Do they go back into the? Oh, we don't need to go into that. That seems.
I think if you're not professional enough to go during halftime and stuff.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you have halftime. Do you think they still serve orange slices at halftime or snacks at halftime?
Dude, when I
protein bars,
we used to get fruit snacks at halftime in our games.
What the fuck? Are you serious?
It was a good time. Me and my coach, we had a tradition. He would give me, it was the Welch's. He would give me a blue one, and I would give him a red one, even though we had blue and red ones. I don't know. It was cute.
Damn, that's cute as hell. Yeah, that's super cute.
Yeah, maybe he was grooming me. I don't know.
Huh.
No, I don't think so.
we got orange slices.
Yeah, but you were a runner.
No. This was like in football. This was
okay.
when I was playing football.
Oh.
There is no halftime when you're running.
It's
full time.
That's a lot of running. I guess I'm up next, huh?
Oh, you up?
All right.
You up, Big Daddy?
Coming up next. That's what they call me. Big Daddy. Number 41, Laviska Shenault Jr. They're taking on the Texans. This guy's a gadget player, has had 2 bad weeks. And honestly, I don't know if it's going to get much better with Jake Luton. How would you say?
I think it's Luton.
Jake Luton?
Jake Luton.
Jake B. Luton. A 6th-round pick from Oregon State. He is going to be starting with Gardner Minshew out. The mustache is on the bench. I saw somebody had a tweet or some Instagram post, and they were saying like injury designation, and it said hand, scapegoat. That was pretty good.
Oh shit!
I think the Luton dude. I think I did see that it was Mike McGlinnan and Luton are like battling for it.
I've heard that as well.
Either way, not looking great. But I do think that with a terrible quarterback, you're going to be looking to get your playmakers involved. So he'll probably see a few more rushes than he's used to, probably a couple of short down passes, maybe like a couple of bubble screens, a reverse, something tricky. Jay Gruden will scheme something up. The Texans defense is bad. I like Laviska as a player. The QB play is questionable.
At number 40, we have Hollywood Brown. He's been very up and down, which has just kind of been a product of the way Lamar Jackson has distributed his passing and the fact that he just is
so inaccurate.
I don't know if he's passed for over 300 yards at any game this season.
I don't know either.
Do we need to look it up? It's not like a –
No, I don't think so.
It's just been too inconsistent who he's targeting. Hollywood Brown, you're really looking for those big chunk plays from him as well, which he can definitely get. But it's definitely a tough matchup with the Colts. But on any given week, he can just kind of take one to the house, I would say.
He's pissed. He was subtweeting.
Yeah, I saw he made some tweets, but he deleted them. But he's definitely unhappy with the amount of targets he's getting. So maybe he'll see increased share.
I think he said, "Why have all these talented players if you're not going to use them or something like that?"
Yeah, true.
That's pretty hurtful.
I mean, it's true.
Him, very direct.
J.K. Dobbins,
the boy,
Mark Andrews.
None of them are seeing the work.
None.
But I digress. On to number 39, we have Tim Patrick. He's currently questionable. They're taking on the Falcons. We don't know if he's going to return, but I do believe he is the wide receiver you want on the Broncos. He's the most consistent. Jerry Jeudy is probably a better route runner, but Tim Patrick just finds a way to get open. He's got a big body like Rick Ross, and he
shaped exactly like Ricky Rose.
And he gets separation, even though he's not the quickest. He's nifty, I'll say, and he's got good hands.
Nice.
I like Tim Patrick a lot.
Great matchup against the Falcons.
Oh yeah.
At 38, we have Marvin Hall, who had 4 catches for 113 yards last week against the Colts. He has he? I'm assuming he's been injured too. Just looking at his numbers.
I just don't think he got a lot of love. He's a deep play.
Yeah.
guy.
But, I mean, Kenny Galladay's injured, should be out, if not this week. Well, he's definitely out this week, but maybe a couple more. You definitely could plug in Marvin Hall as a flex play this week without Kenny Galladay against the Vikings.
Yeah, I would say he's more of a consistent Darnell Mooney. I've seen Marvin Hall do it before. So, but they're same exact prototype. At number 37, we have Michael Gallup. He's taken on the Steelers. We mentioned this earlier with Garrett Gilbert and Cooper Rush. No idea who's going to play. Neither of them sound good. But he did have 12 targets last game. They are taking on the Steelers, like I mentioned. I don't know if I mentioned or not, but I'm mentioning it now. That's a tough matchup.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned it with CD.
Yeah, they're gonna catch an L for sure, but maybe Michael Gallup is going to see some volume whenever they throw themselves back into the game. I see a scenario where he gets targeted a lot. They're probably going to be trying to lock up Amari Cooper, so Michael Gallup, he's the next guy up. He sees the most snaps on the wide receiving corps, so don't necessarily like Michael Gallup, but I think he is viable, and I don't think it matters who the QB is. They're gonna have to throw themselves back into the game anyways.
At 36, we have Kendrick Bourne. The 49ers have been decimated with injuries all season. It's honestly just kind of sad to see, especially what a fall from grace last year.
Yeah.
Coming off the Super Bowl appearance, losing that ultimately to now just losing all of their playmakers. Deebo Samuel out, George Kittle out basically for the rest of the season as far as fantasy goes.
Oh, that hurts so much.
I can't remember who the other wide receiver is, but Kendrick Bourne had 10. Oh, Brandon Ayuk. Kendrick Bourne had 10 targets this past week. Nick Mullins is looking his way. Had 8 catches for 81 yards. They're definitely going to be playing behind from the Packers, so Nick Mullins is going to have to sling them into the game.
Dude, imagine your first 2 picks being George Kittle and Austin Eckler.
Wow, that sounds like that would suck a lot.
Yeah, some dumbass did that out there. I don't know who.
I don't know.
Yeah, never heard of him.
What an idiot to not have been able to have predicted those players would be out for the whole season, basically. Hey, that's the ebbs and flows of fantasy football, man.
All right, I'm done crying. Coming up next, we got Sterling Shepard. They're taking on Washington. Ever since he's come back, he has been on a tear. I really like watching this guy play football. Mentioned it in another week. I watched a documentary on him one time. Great dude. 8 catches, 74 yards, and then the week before, 6 catches, 59 yards. Let's be clear, though, Daniel Jones looks awful. Like, he's just making poor decision after poor decision. But that doesn't stop him from making a good throw every once in a while. And I think Sterling Shepard is a good player to have. Snap count last week, he played 70% of the snaps, which was less than Darius Slayton. So definitely not the solid number one that last week people were predicting, but definitely a good play. And then I think this Washington Giants game is going to be just gritty. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be like a 15-17 game.
I hope it's a 1 p.m. game. Is this a Thursday night game? I fucking hope not. This sounds like they making this shit a Thursday night game. They would make us all watch this shit.
No, the Thursday night game is the Packers and the 49ers.
Oh, that's a good Thursday night game.
Is it, though?
I don't know. I'll read off my player, then I'll look it up while you talk about yours.
It would have been a good game if George Kittle was in there.
True.
I think it'll actually be a little more competitive.
It's just fun to watch Aaron Rodgers play football.
That's true.
Back to the list. At 34, we have Antonio Brown, who should be making his Buccaneers debut against the Saints. Yeah, I mean, we don't really know what his role in this offense is going to be, but we do know that when he kind of came off the streets last year with the Patriots, he made an impact immediately. Tom Brady was looking his way. I think Tom Brady's going to be force-feeding Antonio Brown this whole game. I think Bruce Arians in like –
I got 2 points.
Oh, was I about to steal him?
No. I just want to stop you before you start predicting.
Oh, okay.
Bruce Arians says the number of snaps AB gets on Sunday night against the Saints will depend on the team's overall offensive success. Could be 10, it could be 35. Arians does not anticipate him playing 60 snaps. And also, AB has been staying at Tom Brady's house
No way.
so they can learn the playbook.
That's dope. That's incredible.
Is it dope?
Yeah, that's dope.
I'm just imagining at practice, like AB and Tom Brady have like this new cool handshake, and Gronk is like behind 3 dudes like at the water cooler, just like looking sad, like just looking at his new friendship with AB.
Gronk loves Tom Brady, and Tom Brady loves Gronk.
You think so?
Yeah, man. I think that they're just kind of he's linking up with him in the end zone all these games to solidify their connection.
Dude, I just imagine him being like a jealous high school girl.
Gronk?
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Just so upset about AB. Oh, he's living with you? He's just really upset.
Oh, yeah, I came here to block.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm the second string tight end. To be fair, he was until Jordan Howard went out.
Yeah, I'm glad they freed Gronk. Gronk's a fun player to watch. Anyways, my only other addition to AB was that Bruce Arians said that he looked good in his workouts. Actually, I believe his quote was really good.
I think that is the quote.
So yeah, I think if you have AB on your team, are you starting him this week?
Ooh, I have a 16-man league,
Mm-hmm.
and I am starting him in that.
That feels right.
Yeah.
What about in a 12-man league?
I guess it just depends on my wide receivers. Hit me with a scenario.
Would you rather play Antonio Brown or Marvin Jones?
Ooh, I'm taking the shot on AB. Just strictly actually, I don't know. No, I'm probably going Marvin Jones.
Antonio Brown or Jerry Jeudy?
I'm going AB.
What if Tim Patrick doesn't play?
I'm still going AB. There's a chance that he plays 10 snaps and still has 2 touchdowns.
That's true. Antonio Brown or Corey Davis?
Corey Davis.
Okay. All right. Mike Williams or AB? How many more could I pick? I don't know. I feel like these are all interesting players.
Now I'm just reading them off the rankings I made.
Yeah.
Oh, good times.
Anyways.
I'm excited to see him back in football.
Here's a trade proposal I got.
For me?
No, that I received.
Oh, okay.
Someone sent me Antonio Brown for Todd Gurley.
Ooh, I'm not taking that.
I didn't.
No chance.
Thought it was interesting, though.
Running backs are gold.
Yeah.
Coming up next, though, we got Mapletron, Chase Claypool, taking on the Cowboys.
Chase Claypool?
Did I say?
Not this time.
Oh, okay. I had to edit that out one time. He's coming off a 5-catch, 42 yards, 1 touchdown game. Better than his 1-catch, -2-yard game, but not his 42.6 game. I do like Chase Claypool a lot. You got me questioning myself, dog.
Sorry.
Chase Claypool, my boy. I like him a lot, though. I think he's a very talented rookie. Man's got speed. He's got steez.
Big body
like Rick Ross.
6'4".
He's got a great nickname that I don't know if that stuck.
I don't know. I've not heard anyone else comment.
Yeah, I know we are.
Yeah.
When we're just talking about Chase Claypool.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, we do that often. But I do
great
like
TikTok presence.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are you bullshitting?
No, I'm not bullshitting.
Okay.
Him and Juju are like TikTok buddies.
Oh, I
don't even have TikTok. I just know it through Instagram.
I did hear him say something. He's like trying to get on Twitch. I heard that on the Pat McAfee show one time.
It's lit. It feels like the appropriate response to that.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
I liked that.
At 32, we have Michael Williams. Michael Thomas? No, Michael Williams. Taking on the Raiders.
His name is Michael Williams.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but like,
I guess it couldn't be. I guess you could be named Mike and your full name just be Mike.
Yeah, 100%.
It feels weird. Anyways, Mike Williams is going to do exactly what you think Mike Williams is going to do. Some weeks he's going to go off, and other weeks he's going to be a no-show. I think with the Raiders, it is a very favorable matchup. So if I had to choose between show or no-show, I'm thinking Mike Williams is going to have some big chunk plays against a Raiders defense that has given up a bunch of chunk plays.
As long as they're not playing in another hailstorm.
Well, they're either going to be in Vegas in a dome or in Los Angeles, either in a dome or in Los Angeles. So you don't got to worry about weather.
Up next, we have Cole Beasley. They're taking on the Seahawks. And he had his worst game. Every other game he had played every other game he played, he had at least 9.8 points. I'm really struggling on this one.
Hey,
I don't know what happened, but definitely the take I had where most consistent player seems a little off now, but the 4.4 last week, I think that was just a blip. I think against the Seahawks, he's going to bounce back, make some plays, get some good PPR work, a couple of first downs.
John Brown was on the field again, which is what I think is what cut into his productivity.
Yeah, but also John Brown's not looking great.
John Brown,
He's still hurt though.
Yeah. Against the Seahawks, I feel like John Brown is going to be playing, I think that there's going to be productivity from both of them.
Yeah, that game might be 45-38.
Yeah, you definitely want the healthier player out of the two, hence our ranking of Cole Beasley. I actually have a question unrelated to actual rankings for you. How much do you take weather into consideration when you're playing fantasy players?
I think at this point, early in the season, you don't really have to.
Yeah.
Because the weather's not that bad.
Yeah.
But I think now is the time you start checking every week.
Yeah.
Because if you had checked the weather for that Raiders Browns game, you would have known that there was supposed to be torrential downpour, sleet, and 30-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah.
And you would have known, okay, maybe I don't want to start the wide receivers or the quarterback. Didn't check that till after. I started watching the game and then it clicked. Like I saw something the day earlier. I started Derek Carr. Terrible time. But this is one that's going to be, you're going to start wanting running backs.
Yep.
Because you know they're going to have to feed the rock.
I'd say my thought is like whenever it becomes relevant to me is when I start worrying about it. Like weather hasn't impacted any of my players yet, so it hasn't even like really been on my radar to look into it much.
Well, it's November now.
Yeah.
So I think this is the perfect time to start worrying about it. Maybe just take a little extra time.
Yep. Anyways, what number are we at? We're at number 30. At number 30, we have Darius Slayton going against the Washington football team. Another kind of boomer bust player. Had a good week against the Bucs. 5 catches, 56 yards. I mean, I guess it's not like a great week, but double-digit fantasy points from a boomer bust player to me is I can walk away happy from that.
I don't think Darius Slayton's boomer bust.
I don't know, man. These
like
numbers
90% of snaps.
I mean, but that doesn't mean he's not boomer bust.
I don't.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm looking at the numbers here, and they're saying boomer bust.
When I think boomer bust, it's like
Tyler Lockett or like
okay, so last year and all the other years that DeAndre Hopkins was on the Texans. DeAndre Hopkins. Deshaun Watson's going to throw 4 touchdowns every game.
Yeah.
But there are still games where Will Fuller has 2 points, but then there's games where he has 30. But the QB play is so bad that the games where Darius Slayton's not doing well is because of Daniel Jones. So, I mean, I guess it is boomer bust, but it's not boomer bust from the standpoint of that he himself is going to disappear. It's Daniel Jones throwing to the safety because all he did was stare down one receiver from the snap.
That's nice and everything, but when it comes down to fantasy football numbers, you definitely want to take caution in starting Darius Slayton. Would you at least consider him a matchup dependent player if you don't want to give him the boomer bust label?
Well, if you look at his snaps, he's played 83 is his lowest game, and 6 out of the past 6 games, 5 of them have been over 92% snap count.
I mean, the opportunities are there, but
he's got the volume. I like Darius Slayton. I think.
I don't know. The volume isn't there. I mean, let me just go over the numbers. Week 1, 6 catches, 102 yards, a touchdown, 28 fantasy points. Week 2, 3 catches. I mean, he is basically, it's like when the Giants are struggling, he's struggling. So he's dependent on the play of the quarterback. But then again, you can make that's applicable to any wide receiver.
His lowest game snap-wise was week 6 and 7 where he had 4. But other than that, 9 targets. Or I said snaps, I meant targets. 9, 6, 7, 7, 11, 4, 4, 9. Those are good targets.
Yeah.
It's just Daniel Jones got to give him the ball.
Yeah.
I think your point is right, though. Your point is valid. I don't know why I had to argue with you about that one. I like Darius Slayton, though.
Definitely a valuable player.
We'll move on. At 29, we got DJ Chark. Like we talked about earlier when we were talking about Laviska. Don't know who the QB is going to be. Could be Mike Glennon, could be Jake Luton, the 6th-round draft pick. Either way, I do think that Jay Gruden's going to draw up some nice schemes, get people involved. I just don't expect DJ Chark to have a big day. Of course, now that I said that, he's going to drop 30. But other than that, I think he's a flex play. I think maybe you can get the 10-point upside from him, maybe 15. He's a great player, but questionable QB play.
At 28, we have DJ Moore, who you were definitely expecting a bigger day from against the Falcons, but it kind of ended up being a Curtis Samuel night, just the way that the play call went. But should have another good opportunity against the Kansas City Chiefs. DJ Moore he was kind of finding his footing a bit, and then he didn't have a horrible game against the Falcons, 2 catches for 55 yards. But they're definitely going to be playing behind they'll be playing from behind against the Chiefs. The biggest question is just Christian McCaffrey's coming back. Are they going to try and involve Christian McCaffrey more? Does that affect DJ Moore? Is it Curtis Samuel? Is it DJ Moore? I think that there's a bit of hesitation there, but DJ Moore has been relatively consistent up until this week. This was his worst week. He's definitely going to have opportunities in the passing game against the Chiefs, though.
For sure. At 27, we got Corey Davis, who is having himself a day these past 2 weeks. 6 catches, 35 yards, a touchdown. Last week, 8 catches, 128 yards, and a touchdown. They're taking on the Bears. It's going to be a tough matchup for sure. That's why we got him a little lower. But since A.J. Brown has come back and established himself as a number 1 wide receiver, it has really lessened the coverage on Corey Davis. Corey Davis is finding himself open a lot more than he's used to. He used to be the feast or famine, the boomer bust, and I think he's slowly making a case that he can be a consistent player week in and week out. And I think you can definitely start him and feel pretty good about it, even against a very tough Bears defense.
At 26, we have Marvin Jones Jr., who finds himself at the 26th spot because of Kenny Galladay's injury. He should assume that wide receiver 1 role. Has a good matchup against the Vikings. He was a bit inconsistent while Kenny Galladay was out. But these past few weeks, 5 catches, 80 yards against the Falcons. Week 8 last week, 3 catches, 39 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So that stat line is a bit you wish he had more yardage, a bit more involvement in the passing game, especially since I think Kenny Galladay put up a fat goose egg. And the Lions want to run the ball too, but Marvin Jones is definitely could give you 3 touchdowns at any point. I would say he's done it before.
little Marvin squad out there they're rolling out with.
Oh yeah,
Marvin's.
Yeah. So definitely an interesting play this week against the Vikings.
At 25, we have the disappointing Amari Cooper taking on the Steelers. Not disappointing because he sucks, but because the quarterback and DiNucci was god-awful, which, let me thank DiNucci real quick, definitely won me my game. Shout out Eagles defense.
Yo.
I was pretty happy. He was for sure down, but it's fine. I think this is going to be his worst game of the season. I don't think you panic yet. Definitely don't sell him yet. Even if you are going to sell him, this is the lowest his value is ever going to be. So just pump the brakes, relax. It's Amari Cooper. He's really good. This week might not be his best week, but he's got some good ones coming up. He's got Minnesota, Washington, weeks 11 and 12, and then his playoff schedule is not too bad. Week 14, he's got Cincinnati. Week 15, he's got the 49ers, and he has the Eagles on week 16. So a little bit tougher, but pretty good matchups. Got the Ravens in there week 13, but I think it's tough because of the QB play, but pump the brakes. This guy's still amazing, but this week I think he's not gonna shine his best.
At 24, we have Davante Parker. Tua was getting swarmed last week defensively. Well, actually, is that even true?
They were doing everything they can to get the ball out of his hands as quick as possible.
Anyway, so Davante Parker struggled because of that. He had 1 catch for a touchdown. So that's nice.
It was a really good catch.
Redeeming, at least.
He got bodied before it even entered his hands.
Wow. I did not see this play. This was one of the games that kind of went under my radar a bit.
A lot of defensive touchdowns.
Okay.
Jakeem Grant returned a punt.
I did see that.
It was the only offensive touchdown was Davante Parker's.
But has a really good matchup against the Cardinals. The Cardinals are just lighting up opposing defenses. The Miami defense is pretty solid, but
I lied. Myles Gaskin had a touchdown too.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, Cardinals should be an interesting matchup for Davante Parker. He's definitely still the number 1 wide receiver, I would say, but definitely something to keep your eye on as Tua kind of settles into his position there.
Yeah, he's got the talent, that's for sure. Up next, we have Terry McLaurin. He had a bye last week, but in week 7, he had himself a day. 7 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown. Last time they played the Giants was actually week 6. 7 catches for 74 yards. I think you can expect something similar. The Giants' defense is better than what's led to believe, strictly because Daniel Jones is so bad. They have to stay on the field all the time, but they're very, very solid defense. So Terry McLaurin, I'm not seeing the huge game from him, the 10 catch, 118 yards, but I do think with Kyle Allen back there who can actually get him the rock and move the ball, I think Terry McLaurin's a good play.
At 22, we have Brandon Ayuk, coming off of a handful of really strong performances. Last week led the team in targets. Nick Mullins especially seemed to be looking his way. They were playing from behind, so that has something to do with it. But they're going to be playing from behind this week too. We kind of already touched on the matchup, and Brandon Ayuk has just been breaking out these past few weeks.
It's not often that when the backup quarterback comes in, you're excited. You're like, oh yeah, finally somebody that can throw it.
Yeah, and they'll be from behind too with all the injuries and everything. So
Jimmy G's just been
injured
and talking to too many porn stars.
Oh,
Jimmy.
What a god.
What a god. Don't you wish you were like Jimmy G?
You have rich as fuck and sprained ankle.
And not 5'2".
Yeah. It's so fat.
Yeah.
No fat shaming, actually.
It's just
keep that shit at home, bro.
It's just that you're so skinny. That's a good joke.
Slim thick. I prefer slim thick.
There's nothing thick about you,
bro. Chill. I am.
You ever see those trees on the side of the road that just haven't made it yet?
The trees on the side of the road that have those 2 support poles so that they grow right?
Yeah, that's you. I hope you drink your milk.
I don't. It's bad for your hormones. That's actually a fact.
Coming up next, we got Justin Jefferson at the 21 spot. He's taking on the Lions. Coming off a disappointing game, 3 catches, 26 yards, but that was not his fault. That was Dalvin Cook's fault for being so damn good.
Oof.
Man, when your running back's going to score 4 touchdowns for you, they don't need you, bro. But I do think that against the Lions, he'll bounce back. Kirk Cousins actually going to have to do some shit. And Dalvin Cook's not going to score 4 touchdowns every single week. Even if he has 2 this week, Justin Jefferson's probably going to see a little more volume.
At 20, we have Will Fuller, the 5th.
What accent was that? Is that an impression you're trying?
It's a mispronunciation.
Okay.
It was a Calais Claypool situation. Will Fuller, the 5th, going against the Jackson Jags. A pretty good matchup. He's been pretty consistent this year. So, yeah, man. I don't know. He didn't get traded to the Packers, which is probably good for his value.
Oh, I think him on the Packers would have been lovely.
I think so, too.
For football.
Probably for fantasy, but not immediately. I think it would have limited his value for the short term. Maybe long term extended it, but whatever. Good play this week.
True. At 19, we have Diontae Johnson taking on the Cowboys. Very disappointing week, but Diontae Johnson is a real stud. He's a talent. He's had all the games he's played and he's been healthy other than last week. He's had over 10 targets, and he's going to continue that. I think this 1 catch, 6-yard game, that's not what's going to be normal. The Dallas defense is terrible. Diontae Johnson's great. Have faith. Don't jump ship yet, but I know it's hard with.
Can I read my stat?
Yeah, dude, I insist.
This is from the PFF Twitter, so give them a little plug.
Okay.
I don't know what PFF stands for.
Pro Football Focus.
Oh, baby. Thank you for the assist. Highest target rates for wide receivers. These are your top 4 wide receiver target rates. You can assume that this is going to be a Diontae Johnson favorable statistic. Davante Adams, 34%. Keenan Allen, 33%. Diontae Johnson, 30%. Allen Robinson, the second, 28%. So when he is on the field, he's getting a large share of targets. It's a bit of a misleading statistic since he has been injured for several of those games, but it's still something to note that is a very high percentage of targets when he is on the field.
Yeah, that's way more than 10.
Yeah. Next up on the list at 18, we have Brandin Cooks. I know you're a big Brandin Cooks guy.
Yeah, always have been, honestly. I don't know why he gets traded so much.
I don't either. I wanted him on my squad. I'm trying to pull up my Brandin Cooks stats. I was stalling, but I've run out of time because I don't know how to spell Brandin Cooks.
It's with an I-N.
That's why I spelled it. I spelled it with an I-N.
Brandin. He's been seeing a lot of the targets recently. He's seen more than Will Fuller. The Jacksonville Jaguar game he played last time was a monster game, if you have the stats.
Oh, yeah. It was 8 catches, 161 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
His best game of the season. But then followed that up with a 22-point performance. Against the Jags, it's definitely a good matchup. They got weapons everywhere, so they're going to be spreading people out. Yeah, I mean, Brandin Cooks, I would keep starting him until you have a reason not to.
Which is probably only injury.
Yeah, which is definitely a real threat.
Because every week him and Deshaun Watson just get better rapport. At number 17, we got Juju Smith-Schuster taking on the Cowboys. Really had a comeback from his 6.8 and 2.6 performance. Had 2 solid weeks in a row. I think we'll see a third. I think those games where he was doing bad were just game script, and the one game was against the Eagles, so he saw Darius Slay. And Darius Slay going to shut your ass down unless you're one of these top wide receivers. But overall, great talent. Definitely a number 1 on his team.
Damn, I wanted to ask you if Diontae Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster has kind of been a point of discrepancy between us for most of the year, I would say. And Juju has been more consistent than inconsistent, I would say.
I would agree.
But given the target share Diontae Johnson gets when he is playing, I think that it's fair to take injury into consideration.
Absolutely.
Regardless of this week where we have Juju Smith-Schuster ranked higher. Rest of season, who would you rather have, Diontae Johnson or Juju Smith-Schuster?
Juju Smith-Schuster.
Because of injury?
Yes, because of injury. And I think just the consistency is going to be there more so than Diontae Johnson.
Fair enough.
That's my point.
All right.
I also have a stat for Juju.
More stats.
It's also from Pro Football Focus.
Damn, our news source.
Yeah. So the most catches without a drop this season. Travis Kelce, 48. Davante Adams, 43. And at third, Juju with 39.
I would be curious to hear the average depth of target between those because I feel like Juju Smith-Schuster would be significantly lower. I don't even know if it's 7 yards.
He's not dropping the ball.
Fair enough. It's a lot easier to catch the ball when you're 3 feet away, though. That's my counter argument.
I don't think he's not. He's definitely running routes. You're not watching Steelers games out here.
I'm really not that much.
Our expert,
I'm not a
Logan.
Juju hater, but I'm just saying I don't know if he's the wide receiver I want on that team. I don't know, though. I really don't know. It's kind of a toss-up. I think having any of them is good. I think you can play all 3 of them week in and week out.
I think so, too.
So, at number 16, we have Mike Evans. I'd actually be curious if there's anyone listening to this point. Hit us in the comments which Steelers wide receiver you would rather have rest of the season, Diontae Johnson or Juju Smith-Schuster.
No one's listening, Greg.
Nobody
challenged me to Moncala, bro. I was pissed.
Damn. That's bullshit.
Download the Moncala app, bro.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, dude, I challenged you guys.
Somebody hit up Justin. He's been simmering all week. At number 16, we have Mike Evans. Last week had 5 catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown. The Buccaneers were having to come back a little bit against good Giants.
The good Giants.
I couldn't think of anything.
Solid Giants defense.
Mike Evans has kind of been hit or miss all season, especially the previous weeks. So that's why we're low on him. We also don't know what it's going to look like when AB comes in. I mean, Mike Evans is obviously a massive wide receiver that you just can't ignore. He's also leading the NFL in red zone targets, I believe.
That is a fact.
So, I mean, if he's catching touchdowns, there's value there, and it's consistent. The 2 weeks where he had down weeks were the only 2 weeks he didn't catch a touchdown. So he's had touchdowns in pretty much in literally every other week. So you're really relying on him to catch touchdowns, but Tom Brady is looking his way.
At 15, we have Adam Thielen taking on the Lions. Same thing we said with Justin Jefferson. The 3 targets, there are 3 receptions on 27 yards. That's strictly Dalvin Cook's fault for being so good. I think this week Kirk's going to have to sling it a little more, do a little more in the air. I think Adam Thielen will bounce back, probably get himself a touchdown, seeing as how he's had a touchdown or two in every single game other than week 8 and week 2. So something to bank on. But I like Adam Thielen going forward.
At 14, we have A.J. Brown, another player who has had a touchdown catch or multiple touchdown catches in every single game he's been in except for week 1. He did go out with injuries weeks 2 through – well, he had a bye week 4. But he's had touchdowns in all these other games. Definitely the clear wide receiver 1 has, his Robin and Corey Davis. Just this Titans offense is just – it's good all around. You got the run game. You got the pass game. Jonnu Smith has obviously taken a hit since A.J. Brown's return, but you should have been able to predict that, unfortunately. But, yeah, A.J. Brown, week in and week out start.
All right, so you know the drill. This is Tuesday night, so we don't know about injuries, but at 13 we have Jamison Crowder taking on the Patriots. Technically listed as questionable, but this guy's a monster. Every week he plays, he performs. Doesn't play often, has missed half the season, but when he does play, he's on. He's a great talent. I like him going forward when he plays.
Would you rather have Jamison Crowder or Antonio Brown?
Jamison Crowder.
All right.
Not even a question.
Love it. Would you trade Rob Gronkowski for Jamison Crowder? Asking for a friend?
Dude, no one's going to trade you for Gronk, right?
Would you take Jamison Crowder for Gronk, or is that too low?
Would I take if someone offered
me? Do you
me
think I could get Jamison Crowder?
No, you cannot trade Gronk for Jamison Crowder. But
no, wait. The person who has Jamison Crowder has Travis Kelce, anyways.
Yeah, he wouldn't want him.
Anyways. At 12, we have Robby Anderson. Last week was the only week he didn't have double-digit fantasy points, and he had 9.8. Maybe in your scoring league, he did have his double-digit fantasy points. You're definitely hoping for a bigger week out of him. It was just kind of the Curtis Samuel show. He still had 5 catches, so I think you feel fine playing him. He had 8 targets. I mean, you're going to feel fine playing him every single week, not even think about it.
Yeah, he gets steady targets.
Especially against the Chiefs. Come on.
I love this guy.
Yeah. Ooh.
Always mention it, though, but it's amazing what not being on the Jets will do for your career. Up next, at number 11.
Frank Gore.
Free. At 11, we got TL, the boy, Tyler Lockett. No one calls him that but me. I was texting him earlier.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
Is he going to get on the show?
I tried.
Not at a rank at 11. He'll be pissed off.
Nah, dude.
We got to get him in the top 10.
I told him stop being so boom or bust. He's taking on the Bills. If you watched our trade target video, our buy sell, we told you to sell this guy. Hopefully you did, because he came back down to earth just like he normally does. This might be the week he pops off, though. You really never know. We just you got to keep him in this range just for the upside. It's hard to say if he's going to have 10 or 40, and it's unfortunate. But that's the game you play with Tyler Lockett. The Bills, their offense has been struggling, but I think they're going to get it back on track pretty soon. And if this is the game they do it, I expect Tyler Lockett to be heavily involved in that offense.
At number 10, we have Calvin Ridley, who went out with what appeared to be a foot injury. He was diagnosed with a mid-foot sprain. So he is questionable to play this week. If he is playing, obviously an automatic start against the Broncos. It's just a matter of if he's playing, I would say.
Yeah. That doesn't sound good, that mid-sprain.
Yeah, but I don't know. So you could play through some shit. You never know.
They got the meds.
He's not been ruled out yet.
Okay. Up next, at number 9, we have Tyreek Hill. He's taking on the Panthers. The Cheetah is on fire. He's blazing. He's got quick speed and better hands. And somehow he manages to rally in 2 touchdowns on 4 catches. And he does that pretty much every week. It's actually ridiculous. So this guy's great. The Chiefs' offense is great. Taking on the Panthers, that's a dub right there.
At number 8, we have Allen Robinson, the second. Had 6 catches, 87 yards, and a touchdown. Just typical Allen Robinson numbers. He's a safe lock for getting double-digit looks on a consistent basis. I mean, he only had 6 catches.
Bro, his touchdown catch was so nice.
I can't remember if I saw that. It was like a diving into the end zone, right? It
was so good.
Yeah, phenomenal player. He's going to get the work. I mean, he's the number 1 wide receiver on that squad, and they're in a lot of competitive games. So, yeah, no-brainer start.
At number 7, we got Stefon Diggs taking on the Seahawks. wow, is this man consistent? Double-digit points in every single week. 6 catches in all 3 of his last games. 666 boy.
Goddamn.
Yeah, I expect him to have at least 6 catches in this next game. I think the Seahawks are going to be putting up points. I think Josh Allen will hopefully solve his accuracy issue, which he seemingly did at the beginning of the season, but looking like he's coming back to reality. But either way, Stefon Diggs, this man's a baller.
At number 6, we have Keenan Allen, just
That's my boy.
getting huge amounts of targets every single week. His only hiccup in the past is that he's had injury histories, but he's been all systems go this whole season.
He had 1 injury.
Oh, did he?
He left in the first quarter.
Oh, but he still had a touchdown that game
against
the Saints. I remember that, yeah. So he's been productive every single week. He had that bye week to rest up. Yeah, I mean, must start, especially with Justin Herbert balling out like he is. You want to – he's his number 1 target. They're slinging it all over the place. The Raiders, a great matchup. It's a primetime fantasy day for Keenan Allen up here.
You think Keenan Allen's underrated?
It's hard to say because we
don't underrate him.
We don't underrate him. We both have had Keenan Allen in past. We know what Keenan Allen can do. It's hard to gauge the general temperature on everyone. I'm just like the amount of targets he's get, just his actual talent.
I'm talking about talent-wise. Like I think he's top 5.
Yeah, I think if you were to poll the NFL, that he wouldn't be underrated. I think like if you were to ask defensive players, they would be like, "Oh yeah, Keenan Allen is like easily one of the top 3 route runners in the league."
I think if Keenan Allen and Davante Adams are swapped and he's getting passes from Aaron Rodgers, he's top. He's where Davante Adams is right now. He's getting 3 touchdowns every week.
Interesting.
That's my personal opinion.
I think Davante Adams is a better wide receiver, but I think there's an argument to be made for both of them. I also don't necessarily have like stats or facts to back that up.
Yeah,
it's just
I really sprung this on you.
Purely eye test, I would say.
I agree, though. I actually do think Davante Adams is a little bit better.
Man, that'd be sick if Aaron Rodgers got Keenan Allen, though.
Man, that would be nuts.
That would be so insane.
At number 5, we got Julio Jones, probably the best talent at wide receiver, taking on the Broncos. Had himself a great game, 7 catches, 137 yards. Matt Ryan's been looking his way more. Ever since he came back from injury, he's been a model of consistency, and I see that continuing against the Broncos this week.
At number 4, we have DK Metcalf. He's been definitely the more consistent wide receiver out of the 2. Last week exploded for 40 points, 12 catches, 161 yards.
Yeah, we guessed that in our
2
rankings.
Touchdowns. No big deal. To me, this feels very much, here's a comparison for you, to last year's Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, where they just take turns popping off. They're both pretty good plays week in and week out. I almost feel like this is a better wide receiver combo than those 2, though.
Oh, this is easily the best wide receiver duo in the league.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Duo. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
it's hard to pick it's hard to pick anyone,
especially
over
with
them at this point.
With Odell out, like statistically, they obviously weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
But talent-wise, I think you could make the case that they were better.
Yeah.
But I think now that Odell's out, I can't think of any 2.
Now you have Mike Evans, Antonio Brown. That's just a good wide receiving core. That's just a good team all around. They have Mike Evans.
I guess
that's interesting.
The Bucs is probably.
It's just like their talent overall is like, if you were to just pick 2 Bucs players, I guess you could still make an argument with Antonio Brown and Mike
Evans. I was going to say, AB might be one of the best in the decade.
Yeah. That's interesting, though. That's interesting. I like that. Anyways, that's my comparison.
Nice. All right, moving on next. Number 3, we got Michael Thomas taking on the Bucs. Who knows what this guy, man. Had his ankle injury, finally came back, started practicing, hamstring injury, boom. He's questionable right now, but if he plays, you know the talent he's got. He's one of the top wide receivers too. Hopefully he plays. The Bucs matchup, he played in week 1, I do believe. Didn't perform that well, but I think he's so eager to come back that whenever he does come back, he is going to go ham.
I agree. And I think Drew Brees is going to just look his way.
Why wouldn't you?
At number 2, we have DeAndre Hopkins. He's the best wide receiver on one of the best offenses in the league. Kyler Murray is playing lights out. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is, you know what you're getting with DeAndre week in and week out. He's going to grit it out no matter what, even if he has injuries. I mean, he's probably my favorite wide receiver in the league.
And then at number 1, we got the boy, the truth, Davante Adams. They're taking on the 49ers. Nothing needs to be said here. You already know what you got.
Thanks for checking out this video. If you have any issue with where we put any of these players or who we put on this list, go ahead and let us know in the comments. We can handle the heat, and we will not get out of the kitchen.
Bully us if you'd like. We're ready.
We can handle it. We're tough boys, but we are so desperate for approval. Hence the YouTube channel.